Jeffrey Epstein files. First News.
Live from NPR News in Washington, I'm Ryland Barton. President Trump has signed the bill forcing the Justice Department to release its files on late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Congress overwhelmingly passed the legislation yesterday, which requires the Justice Department to publish all of its files within 30 days, with some exceptions. Those include provisions to protect ongoing investigations. Just last week, the DOJ launched an investigation into prominent Democrats connected to Epstein. The gap between what the U.S. buys from other countries and what it sells them fell by nearly 24% in August as President Trump's tariffs pushed imports lower. Meanwhile, Supreme Court justices appeared skeptical of Trump's tariff powers during arguments earlier this month. NPR's Danielle Kurtzleben reports.
It's not just about whether those country-by-country tariffs will be found to be unlawful. The uncertainty is also around what the impact is on those country-by-country agreements, since those were created under the threat of tariffs. Here's Scott Lincecum, a trade expert at the Libertarian Cato Institute, on how countries will react.
I wouldn't be surprised if a few governments that have agreed to these deals do back out, or at least suspend them and call for a renegotiation. Because again, one of the most fundamental terms of the deal no longer exists.
So we're really in uncharted waters. There's just an array of different agreements, which means there's no one way this will play out.
NPR's Danielle Kurtzleben
a bunch of threats,
a veteran FBI employee is suing the agency, saying he was fired after displaying an LGBTQ plus flag at his workspace. David Maltinsky had nearly completed special agent training in Quantico, Virginia, when he says he was fired by Director Kash Patel, who told he was being dismissed for inappropriate display of political signage. Army Secretary Dan Driscoll is in Ukraine today, along with Army Chief of Staff General Randy George. They're expected to meet with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. NPR's Tom Bowman has more.
Driscoll and General George had already planned a trip to Ukraine to talk about drone technology and lessons learned from the Ukrainian battlefield. Then the White House last week asked the Army delegation to also help kickstart peace negotiations with Trump envoy Steve Witkoff. A U.S. official tells NPR. The official was not authorized to speak publicly. Since Driscoll is an Army combat veteran, the sense was this delegation could more easily relate to the Ukrainian officers. The news of their trip comes amid reports of a new U.S.-Russia peace plan that calls for Ukraine to give up the rest of the Donbas area to Russia.
This is NPR News. Britain is warning Russia to its territory after a spy ship was detected near its waters. Britain's defense secretary says the vessel directed lasers at pilots of surveillance aircraft monitoring its activities. He described it as part of a Russian fleet designed to threaten undersea infrastructure. Russia's embassy accused the British government of being Russophobic. Chip company NVIDIA told investors it made another $32 billion in profit, but NPR's Maria Aspen reports fears are also mounting that an AI bubble is about to burst.
NVIDIA is the most valuable the AI bubble bursting earlier today. It sells the semiconductor.
Yeah. Support for NPR comes from NPR stations. Support for NPR comes from NPR stations. Other contributors include Fidelity Investments. A dedicated wealth advisor can help build a comprehensive wealth plan. Learn more at fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC.